Mayor Cavalier Johnson. Good morning to you, my friend. How you doing?
Good morning, Earl. I'm doing well. Merry Christmas, and nice to be with you.
Yeah. So Mayor Johnson, my co-host on Friday, Sandy Williams, and I have been spending, this entire morning talking about what has happened to the middle class in this country, in the struggles that they face on a daily basis. You are the mayor of a city that clearly, at one point in time, had a strong, vibrant middle class, and that is clawing back to try to bring some of that back. We had the president of the United States in our city a couple days ago. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's an excellent topic to discuss, and one that I spent a lot of time discussing as well here. When I think about the president's visit and what he was highlighting while here in Milwaukee, I think folds very well into that conversation too. You know, it's because folks had opportunities to have good paying family supporting jobs that was able to fuel middle class growth in Milwaukee and some of the other cities. And then unfortunately for us, and you know this well, Earl, because of your own history and your family's history, when opportunities to work in especially heavy manufacturing dried up here, they went to right to work states in the South, they went to places overseas or south of the border for cheap labor. It left neighborhoods in Milwaukee mired in poverty. You know, those folks didn't have another opportunity to get ahead here. And with poverty, then becomes violence and this terrible cycle that we've been sort of trapped in for the past number of decades. That's where President Biden comes in here. Under his watch and his administration, of course, he's created more jobs. More jobs have been created under this president than any other president in the first term or the first 2 years, over 14 million jobs. And even in Wisconsin, I mean, there have been a number of jobs that have been created as well. And those are good things. But particularly for people of color and African Americans, we want to boost opportunities for folks to have jobs. And so I'm glad that the person who introduced the president, Mr. Spivey from Hero Plumbing, right here in Milwaukee, African American man who owns a business, started a business, and is employing other people in our neighborhood, replacing lead service laterals in Milwaukee, helping folks get access to good paying jobs. That's what we need to see, and that's what the president understands.
That young man is scheduled to appear on my show next week,
Mhm.
so I'm looking forward to having this conversation. But this conversation, Mayor Johnson, you've been the mayor of this major city, and you were basically under Mayor Tom Barrett, who had been in our city for a long, long time. Um, and yet there appear to be some things, some lights showing at the end of the tunnel that have really been because of the Build Back Better program and other programs that President Joe Biden has created.
That's absolutely correct. And look, when the president was here a couple of days ago, he said that we're not leaving any community in the United States behind. That includes Milwaukee. And he said Milwaukee is coming back. And Milwaukee is coming back because of the investments, the targeted investments that his administration is making. One of the other things outside of just talking about the gains for African American jobs in the United States and Latino jobs in the United States. President also announced that Milwaukee is a finalist for the Recompete program that could see the city win a grant of up to $50 million. $50 million that would be targeted in our industrial core along the 30th Street corridor to help to create new, good-paying, family-supporting jobs. Right? Those are the things that will help us to move Milwaukee into the future. Those are the things that will help us to generate stability for individuals, for workers. And when folks have the opportunity to have those good paying family supporting jobs and they have stability, then at least the stability in their life, at least the stability in the life of their kids, if they have any. They're not moving around so much. They can afford to pay their rent or pay their mortgage. They can stay put in one neighborhood and not be transient, and the neighborhoods aren't porous. And when the neighborhoods aren't porous, folks begin to develop a familial sort of relationship when you get a critical mass of that. And when that happens, the neighborhoods gel, they become cohesive. And when they become cohesive and gel, that's how you get to the greater public safety that all of us want to see. And look, I'm proud to have a president in the White House like Joe Biden who understands just that. It's jobs, it's about dignity, it's about respect, it's about stability, it's about greater public safety. That's how you create stronger families, stronger neighborhoods, and therefore a stronger state and a stronger country.
You know, you're a mayor of a major city in the United States. That area and that building that we were in, it is coming back to life because of policies that President Joe Biden has offered. Because that building, it, when I was a young man, it was very active, and there were great opportunities and part of that middle class lifestyle that people were able to live. But on 29th and Valete, prior to this investment that has come to help Reuben Hopkins and the Wisconsin Black Chamber create businesses, small business incubators, if you will. It's all a part of renewing hope and hope for the future for many people and for that corridor.
And
Yeah, you're
And Mayor, I think one of the things you've said several times, which is vital to the conversation we've been having, is this idea of good paying family supporting jobs, because there are jobs and there are jobs, and what you're talking about and what seems to be happening is the development in Milwaukee of more of those jobs with a capital J that actually mean family support and middle class status.
Mhm. Yeah, my goals, my desires, what my administration is working on in the city of Milwaukee specifically lines up very well with what President Joe Biden is seeking to do here as well. I'm the development mayor. I want to see cranes in the sky, not just downtown, but also in the neighborhoods, because when cranes are in the sky, that means people are working. That means people have access to good paying family supporting jobs, especially these days and in the trades. And we can see more of that. We're seeing a lot of that now. I want to see more of that happen as well. And President Joe Biden, he believes that small business owners and small businesses, they're the ones that power our economy. They're the ones that help to create the most jobs in this country. And since day one, he's provided small businesses with the resources and the support they need to thrive. With Bidenomics spurring record small business growth in America. I mean, he talked about this as well a couple of days ago when he was here. 15 million applications to start a business in the United States, and small businesses creating over 4 million jobs in the country. I touched on this earlier, but just about the fact that opportunities for African Americans and Latinos to own businesses is up under President Joe Biden, and that I think we should also state because it seems to be at least for now that the presumptive person who will become the nominee on the Republican side is former President Donald Trump, and his record as president was not as positive as President Biden's has been. I mean, his big claim to fame is slashing taxes for the ultra wealthy in the United States, as opposed to President Biden's approach, which has been to make sure that folks are taken care of by building the middle class from the middle and from the bottom up. So that's the difference that I think folks need to understand.
So, Mayor Johnson, we only got a couple minutes left. So I think it's important. I think it's critically important that people understand what mayors and President Biden and others understand, that small businesses are going to be the bedrock of employment to lift people out of the conditions that they're in. There's not going to be a coming back of all the jobs that are no longer happening because of technology or that moved overseas. So let's talk about quickly why it's so important that small businesses get the financial support that they need to become part of the bedrock of recovering.
So you're absolutely right, and small businesses are the engines for growth in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, and in the United States. And President Joe Biden understands that. that's why it's important for us to continue to make investments in small businesses here in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin and in the United States. And that's what Bidenomics is all about. It's about empowering small businesses to get the supports that they need in order to make sure that they're in a position to have their owners to find the success that they strive for, but then also in turn providing opportunities for other citizens in our communities across the country to be able to find good paying family supporting work. And so again, the example, and you'll talk to this Mr. Spivey soon too, example is Hero Plumbing, right?
Absolutely.
Black-owned small business, employing folks in this community, creating good paying family supporting jobs, taking care of a health issue in terms of removing lead service laterals in Milwaukee. I think that President Biden understands that. And again, I'm happy to have a president like Joe Biden in the White House who gets it.
And last thing. So our radio stations are all over the state of Wisconsin. So this is being heard all over the state of Wisconsin. It is clear that President Joe Biden is not focusing solely on central cities across the nation. His policies are earmarked to deal with issues in rural America as well. Is it safe to say that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, a number of communities around the entire state, including rural communities, have benefited from the American Rescue Plan Act. And we certainly did here in Milwaukee. Communities all across the state were able to, but it's not even just, policies like those. It's policies like working to make sure that all Americans are connected with high-speed internet, right? I think that sometimes folks consider that to be a luxury. It's not. It's a utility. President Joe Biden understands that in order for people to be able to compete, to sell things, to apply for jobs, to do well in school, they need access to the internet, and they need it at high speeds. And so we're working to make sure that all Americans are connected that way.
So, Mayor Johnson, I'm sure going into next year, we'll be connected a lot more. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you all very much.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.